Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Down Over. I'm Rick Zanotti, and today I am joined by my good friend down under, Jeff Blanchard, or Double O Blanchard as we like to call him. Jeff, how are you?
Good, thank you, Rick. Ready for a nice half an hour's chat.
Yeah, we got something to chat, a couple things to chat about. And joining us in studio will be Harold Muliati, who is hiding in the background right now. So here we go.
This show is sponsored by Relate Corporation. Digital learning development, media development, corporate video, management consulting, and more. Visit us at www.relate.com. Thanks.
Okay.
So we are back, and there is Harold.
Here I am.
Here you are.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. Was that Harold? It sounds like it came from you. It's the sort
Here
of voice.
Ooh.
Ooh. It was more so.
There we go.
That's Rick. That's Rick. Ah.
So anyway, what's new? Well, Olympus bit the dust. Olympus cameras, that is. So the Olympus camera, I guess, lens line is bye-bye. They got acquired by JIP. What is it? Japanese investment?
Japan Industrial Partners.
Japan
known
Industrial
for owning some of their other holdings are things like copper tube manufacturers, avionics instrumentation manufacturers. So it seems a little bit of an odd...
and the Sony Vios.
Oh, yes. Sony Vio. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I always wondered whatever happened to the Sony Vios. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah, I believe...
They went off somewhere else, so they're probably a brand in China or Japan or somewhere in Asia, not out here anymore.
Yeah, I believe since 2014, it's not Sony Vio anymore. It's just called Vio.
Vio.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's that company's thing to get into the standard electronics, because by the sound of it, they've got some electronics, but in the piping and that, but it's trying to break out into the consumer market, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, because they sound like an investment firm or a venture capital firm, but very diverse, odd group of products. So not quite sure what they're doing.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if they still own them, but at some point I think I heard JIP owned Big Globe, which is like one of the bigger ISPs in Japan. So that's sort of it's still pretty far from camera industry. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the companies I used to work for years ago, an electronics company, selling retail outlet, which sold TVs, videos, hi-fis, music, and all that. They got bought out by Bras and Things, so a company that just sells
Bras and Things.
That's what the name of the company was.
Bras.
Okay.
Brazen. I thought you said bras and things. Like bras.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was called Brazen, but that's what it was short for, Bras and Things.
Oh, how funny.
But I thought that it doesn't necessarily mean that whatever they're doing's not out of the realm of possibility, you see. So.
No. Interesting. Wow. I guess their cup runneth over, right?
Yeah.
Many of those jokes around, I suppose.
Yeah, I imagine. Anyway, so Olympus bit the dust. It's really a shame. They did actually make good cameras. I didn't particularly like them because I thought they were too small ergonomically, but they were good cameras, and their lenses were fantastic. We have two of them. I don't think we have them here, but maybe we do. But we have the, 7-14, I think?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
And that is a really nice lens. That's a beauty. And then we also had the 40-150,
yeah,
something like that.
4150,
and that's a really nice lens. I mean, so the lenses were great.
The lens hood on that one is a little funky, but the lens itself is
flawed.
Is very solid.
It was a good idea, but it was flawed. It broke too easily.
Overcomplicated, I guess, for the lens hood design.
And
I was thinking that probably Darren and Ramon are going to be sad about this. Because
yeah, that's true. Ramon Troutman.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been on the show with him. I think you missed both those.
I think I've missed Ramon.
Yeah, Ramon loves his Olympus. He's probably crying right now. We have to get him back on the show too, so I'll try to get hold of him.
I think with the Olympus, my only thing with one of those was one of the early digital ones, but I was just always taken with the picture quality because it was unique. It was quite different to all the others.
It was nice, right?
Really nice, and I can't explain it. Like Sony and Canon and Nikon do a really good picture, but this one had a great. But it was just different. I really liked that the best out of the three for some reason. I don't know why, but it was.
Well, Olympus was always good for lenses, and maybe they just had very sharp. And I think if I recall correctly, their pictures are very sharp. They had nice color science. They didn't look badly at all. I'm not quite sure why they didn't make it, other than Micro Four Thirds is probably having a hard time right now, and Panasonic beat them in the Micro Four Thirds area. They just outsold them by quite a bit. And Olympus has other lines and other things they do. They do field recorders. They do all sorts of different things. So they have a big medical, I think, imaging division. So I guess they felt the cameras weren't worth it anymore.
I suppose it's not just whether they're doing well for that particular range, but everybody's suffering a bit with cameras. So there's somebody's going to fall by the wayside, and if you're not doing Top Gun, it's only the top that sort of survive. If you're just doing mediocre, you say, well, why bother? There's a lot of time and investment to bring out new models. Let's put it into the things that we are selling a lot more of, and that's probably a wise move on their
So
part.
for Olympus, we bid them adieu.
Yeah. Oh, what was that?
That's the Olympus goodbye sound. They just didn't do it. Well, Panasonic came out with a new camera.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can you guys repeat that?
Yeah.
Everybody at first went...
Yeah, well, okay.
And of course, there's always the Panasonic fanboys and girls. But unfortunately... No.
Been programming the sound buttons this week. That's what Rick's been doing.
Yeah, no. They've been here forever. But, it's called the Panasonic G100.
Okay.
And it looks nice. It looks like it's a good camera. The reviews say, wow, this is really cool. It has the same sensor as a G9. They thought it would take as good a picture. There's no in-body image stabilization. And you know what that means. No, in today's day and age, no IBIS, right?
Well, I think more importantly, it's specifically that they didn't put in-body stabilization in a camera that they are marketing as a vlogging camera.
A blogger camera.
People are supposed
blogging.
to.
Wow.
People are
old.
Yeah, something they expect people to be walking around and pointing at themselves with. It doesn't have stabilization except for crop sensor electronic stabilization.
Yeah, and it didn't look too good. I was watching the review by the DP review with Chris and Jordan. It looked awful. When Jordan's walking, it's like... I go, ooh, that's bad. And I think the lens had image stabilization, but it couldn't do it. It was just too shaky. And I don't know, it just didn't look that good. Yep,
what's the sort of size? It's hard to see from the picture. It looks like it's a smallish camera, but
it's a smaller camera than the G9. It's more like the G85, G90, which are pretty small cameras.
It's not a fixed lens. It is a.
It's removable or interchangeable lenses.
Yeah, I thought by the looks of the picture, I thought it was like one of their just all-in-one cameras that you can't change it.
The DP review basically said, if you want a camera with good features and good autofocus and good sound and good everything, spend a couple hundreds more and get a G9. The G9 right now is, I think, under $1,000, $990 or something. That's a really good price for that camera. That is a nice camera. I still love the G9. I've had one now for about a year and a half. I love that camera. And it does a good job. This one, I don't know what they were thinking, because I guess it does have the articulating display, but it's not OLED like some of the other stuff. It is. No, it's not an OLED viewfinder, I think. However, it is a large viewfinder in terms of 3.5 megabits.
So same as so it's a size.
Inch.
What was it?
3.5 inch.
3.5. No, 3. No, it's only 3 inch. the screen.
3-inch.
All right.
3.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not that big either.
Okay.
The viewfinder, I'm sorry, is 3.5 megapixels.
And let's see, if you want to see the this how big it is compared to a person, we've got their video of it. So should we check out just a little bit of that? Well, let's see. So
the Lumix G100 is an interchangeable lens mirrorless camera that is designed specifically for vloggers and content creators. And it brings with it a suite of amazing audio and video features, all in a super compact body. To give you some of the headline features of the G100, it is the first interchangeable lens mirrorless camera to incorporate Ozo audio by Nokia. It has 5-axis hybrid image stabilization, as well as a free-angle flip-out screen, which is great for taking selfies with, all in a super compact and portable camera body. So there's a lot to like about the G100, and to share with you their experience of shooting with it, I'd like to now introduce two very special guests and friends of Panasonic, Rachel and Jun. Rachel and Jun are an American and Japanese YouTube couple with over 2.6 million subscribers on their main channel. They post videos about life in Japan, cooking, and their 3 beautiful cats, Haku, Nagi, and Poki. Hi Rachel, hi Jun, how are you?
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for joining me.
it doesn't
really
look like they're actually using the camera in that bit, but let's see if they. I think they show them actually bringing it around.
The thing that we look for in a camera.
Right.
So it has the LCD screen that rotates in all of the different directions, so we can film selfie mode while we're outside, or we can film from different angles.
And I think I can touch on the panel and then focus on the faces, and then it automatically starts filming by itself while it's the facial recognition is working, right?
It follows our faces, not with just the audio, which is an amazing function, but we can tell that it's focusing on our face the whole time because it has our face in the little square.
Yeah.
There's been so many times we've filmed a video and then gone back to watch it later and realized it wasn't focused on our faces halfway through and we had to refilm. It has a grip, which is an amazing... The grip has been wonderful to use. A lot of vloggers like filming, holding the camera out at the angle while you're walking around outside. We typically film with the GH5, which is very heavy, and I have noodle arms, so I can't do this for very long. But because this camera is lighter, it's a lot easier for me to use that function.
And that grip can also turn into a tripod, the mini tripod that I can just sit it on the ground and even can get the super low angle shot too. I really like that about it too. And I think there's a button that you can just press on the grip that starts recording, right?
The grip has a record button on it already.
Yeah, that was really good too.
It still has the spot on the top to attach additional features if we need them.
Yeah.
We can change the lens so we can film anything we want.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a great camera all around.
So, all of these.
That's a really good point you made.
So yeah, I mean, it looks like size-wise, it seems to be maybe a little bit smaller than something like the G85 or something. So it is quite small.
But I think they were obviously paid for their comments because every reviewer out there said the same thing, and it wasn't what they said. They said focus isn't that good.
I think it's kind of funny that so they show them in a 2-shot where they're on the right, and then there's the Panasonic guy who's just kind of like staring at them.
Yeah.
So if they say anything bad, I think the sword comes out from the side.
Yeah, you cannot say that.
But I was thinking that when they said it was for a vlogger, I was thinking, why would and that's why they put a little tripod and a little hand-holding thing on it. That's what they call it. Why it's a vlog holding, not that it's stabilized, but it's on that. But it does look quite considerably smaller. But the thing is, if you don't want it weighty, well, the only thing that would make it weighty, like they were saying, was the big lens that they put on it. So the lens that they put on it wouldn't make it much, because the camera wouldn't be much difference in the weight. So, and like you can have a nice small one on the GH5 to make it lighter if you want.
Well, yeah, and really for video blogging, you're usually going to use a pretty short lens because you want a wide angle anyway.
Yeah, you do. You don't want a big one on. But anyway, there's horses for courses. But as I said, other people don't like it as much. But you would think even when they said with the focusing, no matter what you think, Panasonic's the great cameras, but forever had focusing problems.
Yeah, and they haven't changed. They refuse to do. I don't know why they refuse to do the phase detect. Everybody else is doing it, and it's beating them on focus. By the way, you don't hear anything anymore about the Panasonic S1.
No?
Yeah, not really. It's kind of
You just don't.
So has that sort of died? So, or just we're waiting for the S2 or something? Or is that the?
I don't know, but it doesn't look good for them. That's for sure.
No. But I think it's just people are getting to the stage with cameras now that they're stopping looking at all the specs. Oh, this is a full frame so-and-so with that many. Well, they're still concentrating on full frame. It's got 500 megapixels. I think we're up to 665 or something, 650. I don't know what we're up to at the moment, but they keep getting bigger and bigger. But I think people are concentrating on this does a great picture quality. It doesn't matter the specs. This does the quality.
Right.
I think people are looking at that because, quite frankly, most people won't know. If people can give them the cheapest phone and do that, and with a bit of arty things on it, oh, that's a fantastic picture.
But I do agree that with full frames coming out now and not that large and quite a bit cheaper than they used to be, it begs the question, why should I get a Micro Four Thirds? And for video, I think the Micro Four Thirds may be better. For pictures, it can look nice, but they can usually get beat by the full frames just on plain quality and the size of the pixels on the full frame. So there's always that juggle. And I like the fact that they tend to be smaller, not that much anymore. Mirrorless cameras are getting as big as regular cameras. Yeah. So Panasonic actually, I think, has the biggest mirrorless camera out there. It's almost like a 1DX. It's so thick.
And I don't mind that because I quite like the bigger one to hold, the better it is. Those smaller ones might, but they're so hard to handle, and the buttons are small. Whereas if you've got a big one, you can hold it with one hand decently. Whereas a little one, it's hard to reach the buttons with one hand as well.
Right, that's true. And also on the, speaking of stabilization, having more mass, more inertia is just natural stabilization right there.
And I always take it back to years ago, like with video cameras and that stuff. Never had any problem with stabilization then, because they're so damn heavy you couldn't move them. No matter whether you breathe, you jumped up and down, it wouldn't move because it was so heavy. You just did it naturally, and everything was stable. You never thought about that, and you couldn't walk with them because you couldn't.
And
walk
also,
right,
when we were on analog media, you couldn't really pixel peep as easily.
No, that's right.
Also, one thing when you have a DSLR camera, if you have a big lens, it tends to pull you down. If you're on a Micro Four Thirds, it really pulls you down, the big ones. And the lenses are getting bigger. They're not as small as they used to be. Though you can still find small lenses on any camera line, but then, the average ones tend to be pretty large. And I don't know. It's just sort of interesting. Would you go full frame? Would you go Micro Four Thirds? Harold, what would you do?
Well, for the stuff I do, I primarily need to take photos, usually in a pretty controlled setting. So I'd go full frame or whatever, just because that makes more sense for the kind of stuff I have to do.
He just went right by it. Didn't even, just ignored me.
Yeah, he didn't hear that, did he? No. Still doesn't know what we said. So.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh.
I think she likes that dungeon, but
that's the thing. Like the full frame, there's no doubting it's probably the best thing to do. And for the likes of us, we'd love it. But it's a sort of thing you can't do that to the mass market because they have full frame, crop frame, Micro Four Thirds takes a picture, doesn't it?
Yep.
They don't care. Most of them.
But when you consider the fact most people now don't mind their phones.
No.
Yeah.
And they said a lot of the things you see things and that you get it out to, because that's what you've got with you to film it. And most of the time when you get your most important shots, it's on your phone because that's the one you've got with you.
Yeah, and I think that's another important point about the G100 is without the offering, good mechanical stabilization, in-body image stabilization, you're not giving people something much better than the phone they already have. You can get maybe a better image, but then you have to buy lenses for it. And is it going to be so much better than what your phone has? Phones already do the electronic image stabilization, and on phones they've gone pretty good at that technology already.
Now, do you know what I want? What somebody to invent out there in the technology line. You know, like they have the little Segway for people walking, you know. I want somebody to develop something like a little cart like that's got enough room to put my tripod, my camera stuff on there, and then for me to have a sensor around my belt and it just follow me around to 2 inches behind me, so I can walk along with that, and even have me cart there, so I have all your camera equipment with you.
Your little robotic camera caddy.
Yeah, they could probably do something like that with a golf cart. Yeah.
But that would be good. Just something small enough, though, that had your cameras there that you didn't have to push, so you could take you there, and when you're walking, it would be still following you. So I thought that would be a fantastic thing. It would open up me, because I just get lazy. You've got them all in your backpack and all that, but then you've got to stop, do that, and then you put it down. Then you think, oh, don't forget where you put your bag down while you're taking your photos. But I thought,
I know one thing we wanted to talk about. We were talking about it yesterday. Maybe you can bring up a picture of the Tenba, TENBA, Access 24 backpack.
Oh.
This is a really nice backpack. Actually, Jeff, you'd probably like this one because you tend to go out into the forest and outside a lot more, but it looks really good. It's about $250, or maybe a little bit less. Then they had another one that's a 24 liter. That 24 is for 24 liters of space inside the backpack. And the other one was a Tenba 32. And then I think they have a 16, which is probably just a little bit small. So that's what it looks like. And Tenba for 40 years has been making military grade and backpacks for the military, U.S. Army and other armies around the world. So they have a lot of experience making rugged, tough, water sealed. This thing is water repellent. It also comes with a little raincoat you can put on it, but it's basically water repellent. Water will slide off of it.
So this is the 24, and the 32 looks like this, almost the same, just a bit taller.
Just a little taller, right?
Yeah.
The 32 also, the 24 and the 32 support a 17-inch laptop. So you can put a pretty big laptop in there. The little one, I think 16, that only supports a 15-inch laptop. And the laptop would go on the back side of it. So that's what would be against your back. And they said that helps keep the pack a little bit straighter, and it keeps it well hugged to your back, so there's less chance of the laptop getting hurt. Everything is, yeah.
It's just access from the back or the front, or just?
They have 3 access points: side, back, and I think top or front. I'm not sure.
Yeah, top.
Is it top?
So I like those ones that have access from the part that's on your back, because then you can't accidentally open it up and throw it on the floor.
Yeah.
It makes it a bit harder to do.
But this has at least 3 access points.
And here they have an example showing it stuff in it, so you can see where the laptop goes in there.
You can put a lot of stuff in this.
They have 2 DSLRs and 5 lenses or something. Or
it's a very nice. It's a very nice pack.
And this is this is the 24 liter that Rick was talking
And the
about.
32, I think, still does 2 cameras, but really large zoom lenses and other things.
I mean, they have the 24 here, and they have 2 cameras, and one of them has a 70-200 on it.
On it, yeah.
so you can fit a lot in there.
Is that a Canon?
I can't quite tell. I think it is.
It might
and I
be.
suppose, I think they're both the same camera, so they're trying to say they've got the one with the small and one with the bigger lens, so you don't have to change the lens. You just change the camera with them. That's because it looks like the same camera.
That's a Canon, but I'm not.
Which, if you've got the money, that's the best way you do. You just, rather than wasting time changing lenses, and every time you open it, you'll get dust on it, no matter how good you are. And so, if you don't have to do that, you can do that and just keep your camera. It's a good idea if you've got the money.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice, and it looks, and it's not that heavy. They said it's
somebody else to take the picture then.
Yeah, they said it's pretty rugged, but not too heavy, and it's on the light side.
It's also got these straps on the back of it so that you can attach extra pouches there, like you can see at the bottom of the picture.
Oh, full MOLLE support.
Yeah, you can put a bunch of other stuff on there if you wanted to.
Yeah, so this Harold, this looks like this is on the back. This isn't the front of the thing, because can you see where the laptop
that's the back opened up?
Yeah.
Strap. So that's exactly what I thought. So better. So you have to take it off, put it on the floor, do that. So you're not going to.
No, but there is also a side feature that you can actually just lean and pull out from that side.
I saw you can, because it looks like that, where that the bottom camera looks like that opens up at the side, so you can pull it out the side there. Main camera.
Yeah, that happened to me once with the Low Pro Tactical. I thought I had closed it. I left the side. I did. I pulled out from the side, and then I put it down, and then I showed somebody the top, and then I put the camera back in from the top, and I forgot the side was open. When I swung it on my back, the camera went whee. I went, oh no!
And you know it's happening, but you can't stop the momentum. Oh no! And then it flings it even harder. And
there were three of us watching it. It literally, if somebody were filming us, because three of us went.
And as I said, if you was in the Olympics, you wouldn't have been able to throw it 3 feet.
No.
But now you've got the shot put champion of the world by. But if you intended to throw that, I bet you. Open that. See how far you can fling your camera. You wouldn't be able to do it as far.
The one good thing is the GH5 it was on didn't even get a scratch, but the lens sheared off. I mean, it just didn't damage anything, but the lens itself was damaged, and I had to get a replacement. I was like, oh man, I've never dropped a camera, and that was sad. That was just very sad.
Yeah, but it's so you can see it happening, but you've just gone past that point of no return when you're on the shot. Oh no! Oh,
I mean, I'm not sure if this was a factor in that, but I guess one of the things about mirrorless cameras is because there's fewer mechanical parts inside. Maybe they're a little more.
Maybe
I don't know, but then they have the image stabilization that has all that stuff going on. So maybe not. I don't know.
But the GH5 is really rugged. It's actually very well built and ergonomic, but the lens sheared off. I mean, it bounced 3 times when it hit. Don't. And the lens was left behind. I went, oh. Of course, when I opened the lens, that was when the lens got sheared. That was the 12 to 60 millimeter, the higher end one. That's $1,000 lens. It was held by this cheap piece of what do they call it? Is it fly wire?
Fish wire.
Fish wire, and there were just little cheap pieces of plastic that held it in place. I go, $1,000 buys you this piece of crap mount? It was just a plastic mount on the one side. I was going, God.
Which one is that? Is that the Panasonic one? Or?
That was the Panasonic GH5.
Oh, I mean the lens?
The lens was the Panasonic 12 to 60, which is a very nice lens. But Panasonic said they couldn't repair it. They just sent me a new one.
Yeah.
The Leica, wasn't it? It was the dearer one, the Leica 12 to 60.
Yeah.
But I suppose, Rick, if it had better parts, instead of being $900, it would have been $1,900.
I know. I mean, if I had the Nocticron, that's a $1,500 lens. It's like, oh. Yeah, though I think that one's a little better built. I wouldn't put money on it anymore.
Well, that one is a prime, so it might be a little sturdier. But on the other hand, the Nocticron has a lot of elements because it's got all the anti-dispersion and that kind of stuff because it's just a very high-end lens.
Yeah, it's funny. You never want to drop a bag or a camera out of a bag. It's scary.
Yeah, so if you do get this Tenba bag that we're talking about, make sure that you always check that side zipper, or else.
Yeah, just in case. But it looks like a very nice bag. I don't know. Maybe in the future we're going to get one and see how they work and see if it's worth it. But Tenba makes nice bags. We've got some video bags from Tenba, and they're great.
They're actually really good. Yeah.
I don't think we have them in here.
No. Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. They're really good bags. And lots of room, and they're heavy and big, and you can put, like, for example, the C200, which is in front of you, you can put that with the top part and everything straight into the bag, zipper it up, and you're done. You don't even have to take it apart.
I was joking, those video bags from Tenba, we have, because the inside has this sort of checkered pattern, I was saying it looks like it's a picnic basket.
It does.
Well, so it looks like that, and they're one of those kinds of bags that have the little seat belt for your video camera in there. You can buckle.
They all have they have most of the camera bags. The video camera bags have the seat belt
because the cameras are so big.
Yeah, and I think they come with a mask now, just so that they don't get COVID.
Yeah,
that's important.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to have a mask on the front of the lens to protect that. Like
that's true.
You've got that fuzzy look on that. I did actually see some talking about masks, I was just walking to the supermarket the other day, and somebody had a mask on, but they had it in back to front, and they looked like a duck. You know, I just laughed, and I couldn't help myself. He looked like a duck. You know, it was pointing right out, and I was just grateful it wasn't somebody who would turn around and thump me, because I just couldn't help but I just saw him. And I just laughed because it just looked so.
Yeah, we need to put a duck sound on our soundboard there.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. Got dog, cat. It could be a duck.
We need a few more sounds to flesh out.
We have a lot of room on
McDonald's farm here, you know.
Yeah, we have more room for sounds.
We should have let's have a lens with a built-in sanitized dispenser, and so every time you press the button, it oozes out hand sanitizer around.
Oh gosh.
There'll be these, there's technology and the things that they're doing around the world to save this. Across from my house is a park, with people walking across. The government's done a real nice thing. They're really doing their thing about COVID. They've stapled a sign on one of the posts. Said, "Be careful, stay careful, keep your distance." And I thought, and the employer, I don't know about them, but they're employing all these people. You go around and somebody's there with a cloth wiping down the push
I know.
buttons.
It's just so stupid, because when you're outdoors, COVID dies within a minute. They're so dumb.
It's the science, you know.
Polishing the traffic lights and doing all, and I thought, what did they do?
They are nuts. They're nuts.
But it's science.
Are they worried that people are going to lick traffic lights? I mean, I think if you're going out, climbing up the traffic lights and licking them, you probably
deserve it.
Well, you have some other problems, I think, probably.
I better stop pressing that button with my tongue now. I better just start using
How am I supposed to let people I want to cross the street now?
That's right. Yeah. But anyway, well, that's all our content for today, and we've done about 30 minutes, so that was pretty good. Sometimes I don't think we have enough content, and we can talk 30 minutes with no problem.
Maybe not on the same subject, but we can keep going.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, if you're watching the show, thank you very much. Please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up or down or whatever you feel like. Don't do anything if you don't want. And we will see you in 2 weeks. We're not going to be here next week because they're putting a tent over this huge building we're in. That should be interesting.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're all joining the circus, so we'll all have the clown makeup on. That's in 3 weeks. But
Harold, camera out and have a filming them putting the thing over that would be interesting, putting the tent over the building again.
That would be,
yeah, and see if they can get the picture of them doing
that. Yeah. Anyway, have a good one, everyone. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
See you next week.
Okay. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.